Hello friends, welcome back to episode 5 and the last episode of our American adventure. Just a little bit of a disclaimer, I'm actually recording this 6 months after we've already returned home. It's currently nearly December. I've just been very busy. But this episode starts with us adventuring into Sequoia National Park in California. So Sequoia National Park, the sequoia tree is one of the biggest trees in the world, if not the biggest trees in the world. Different to redwoods. Redwoods grow really, really tall. Sequoia trees grow tall and wide. We didn't know any of this beforehand. We were just driving in California, saw a sign for Sequoia National Park, thought, hey, we have time. There's not much to do in Sacramento, which would have been our next stop. So we just went. We drove and we drove and we drove, which you will see in the beginning of this episode that I should have edited down a little bit more than I already did, but I'm tired. But we drove all the way up, and to our surprise, as soon as we reached the peak of this mountain, there was snow. It just started snowing out of nowhere, which made the whole experience so magical because we took a trek to the biggest tree in the world called General Sherman. It's massive. I think they said it spans like 3 vans, the size of 3 vans parked one in front of the other. So massive, which you will see, and the snow just made it like otherworldly. It didn't feel like we were living real life. But that's what this episode begins with. It's our California story and the closing to our adventure. So enjoy. You will be seeing Sequoia National Park and moving into Sacramento, which is the capital of California. Surprisingly, because there's nothing really there, but enjoy. So at this point, as you just saw, this is en route to San Francisco. Another disclaimer, just a quick one. It's actually February, and the last time I was editing this video was December, which just, don't know, sorry everybody, but at this point we went to San Francisco, and we're actually staying with Brett's sister, shout out Sammy, has a really good friend named Eve, shout out Eve, and we went and stayed with Eve, and she like took us around as a local, which was insane. We had the best time, and it felt like a little piece of home, which was really nice. So yeah, we spent, I think it was 3 or 4 days in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. We saw everything that we needed to see, drove over the bridge, took photos at the bridge. It was just really cool, and that you will see here. So weird. So from San Francisco, we continued on the Pacific Coast Highway, Highway 1, Big Sur, whatever you want to call it. It's one of the most famous routes on the West Coast. And our first stop was Santa Cruz, which was actually closed, but it was still a cool experience to see. Then we took a trip down to Monterey. Beautiful. Very golf-focused. Brett was very excited. We stayed in a beautiful, quaint little hotel, and we just spent the time adventuring around there. It was a place that you would retire. It was peaceful, and the people were kind, and there were lots of things to do and things to see, but in still such a small place. Keeping in mind it was still Pesach during this time, so we had been hustling with the food game for quite a while, and the last day that we were in Monterey was the last day of Pesach, and we went and watched the sunset in the most beautiful spot, sitting on the rocks. And then I broke Pesach on Domino's pizza, like thick base with chocolate lava cakes, and I actually felt so sick afterwards. And then we went to Coles Jr. for Brett, and he had the worst breaking Pesach meal you could possibly imagine. It was like basically 10-star rating for food poisoning. It was just it was a core memory, a really memorable experience. And then we stopped over at Carmel by the Sea. Also a beautiful, cute little place. It's just one strip of hotels and guest houses, and while we were there at breakfast, we met this really cute couple from, I think, Boston, if I remember correctly, and they couldn't understand why we were there as this like young couple. You know, this is a place where retirees come to have a moment. And then we ended up connecting with them. They wanted to come to South Africa. We spoke to them for a while, connected with them on Instagram, and then we went for like late afternoon walks across along the promenade, just on the edge of the ocean with the most beautiful nature. It was the most serene place I think I'd ever been to. And we played Pokemon Go, as the nerds we are, catching Pokemons in a place we'd never been. And now on my Pokemon Go, it says caught in Cambria in, I think it's California. Now I've got Pokemon from all over America, regardless of the fact. After Cambria by the sea, we slept over there for one night in this cute little apartment. And then we made our way to LA. We spent a lot of time with Brett's family friend, who showed us around, took us to all these amazing places, showed us all the ropes. And then for the next few days, we actually extended because we were staying with Brett's cousin Shannon, shout out Shannon, and his girlfriend McKenna. They took us around, good places to eat, showed us everything we needed to see. We adventured a lot, tried to see the Hollywood sign. You can't see it. But here are our Los Angeles adventures for a little bit. the Hollywood sign is like really hard to see. It's not like the movies where you just see it on the mountain. It's like you have to have the perfect angle to actually get a peek at it. But we did that. Shannon took us to Malibu. We drove around there. Brett and I drove there separately, and we went with Shannon. We saw all the good things. We had a lot of fun in LA. I was just a little bit shocked and surprised at the level of homelessness and poverty that actually goes on there. So we missed out on the celebrity stars and things like that, which I saw out of the window, because the streets, you actually can't walk on them. But we had a really, really great time, and then went down to Shannon's girlfriend McKenna's lake house, chilled with them there for a little bit, just had a great time. You'll see us in San Diego, which was the last place of our trip. We spent a week there with my dad's best friend and my uncle Roy, who made us feel so at home that we actually couldn't fathom coming home. And as much as I sobbed and cried leaving for America for 3 months, I think it was way more heartbreaking to come home when I wasn't ready, and I just had the adventure of a lifetime and felt freedom like I've never felt before in my life. But I think what made it so different is that we were living like locals. Like, we were living in a house, we were eating groceries, we weren't having takeout anymore, we were going to the shops, we were driving around at night, we were walking the streets. It was like home, and the thought of coming home and starting life up again was just debilitating. Like, we ran out of money, we had to come home, and looking back on it now, my life has never been the same. I've never felt the same. I think America, that whole trip just flipped my entire world upside down. When I think back to it, I tear up automatically, because it was true freedom and experience and life. And it's just not a feeling or experience you can ever regain or go back to. It's so hard to explain that feeling, but here we are in almost March 2025, still thinking back to the fondest memories of the best 3 months of my life. So we are sitting at the car rental place. We've just dropped off our car. That was the last time driving in America. we're very sad. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that took us in, helped us out, gave us the greatest experience, gave us moments of feeling at home, just being there as support and as like interim family members. We'll be forever indebted to you for doing it with such a good heart, everybody that took us in. It made our experience 1,000 times better. And aside from that, I'll never forget, I have the worst memory in every galaxy. I can't remember anything, but these 3 months were core memories for me. And now it's almost March 2025, and I still look back with such warm feelings and so much knowledge gained and so much appreciation just in general, and the kindness that people showed us and the things we saw that some people won't see in their entire lifetimes. It's just irreplaceable. And thank you to everybody who's watched this journey and was interested enough and invested enough to come along with us. And also sorry for posting this like almost a year to the day that we left for America. But I love you all and thank you. See you on the next adventure, I guess.